Tools for working with pain. Introduction. This will be a brief overview of some tools that we can use when we encounter pain in the body. This won't be so much a guided meditation as a suggestion for possible ways to work with pain when it appears either during your meditation or at any other time in life. I want to preface this by saying that we should not use these tools to ignore pain in situations that might lead to further injury. If you are experiencing acute pain, particularly in a joint, or having pain that might be related to a heart attack, please take that seriously and take appropriate action. If you have a chronic pain that you know the cause of, but that is unresolved, or if you frequently experience pain in meditation that resolves itself as soon as you stand up or move, then these are probably safe uses for these practices. Please use good judgment and practice responsibly. Firstly, let's talk about what we call pain. Pain is a label, and it is a particularly loaded label. Pain is something that hurts. Pain is something we don't like or don't want in our lives. Pain is something that needs to be relieved, suppressed, medicated away, or distracted from. Pain makes life unbearable. The label pain is a judgment that sets us up in opposition to it. It becomes a foreign invader who we prepare to fight against. So we tense our body in opposition. We try to force the pain away, hold it at bay. We constrict our muscles in defense against it. But if we remove that label, what is pain? If we drop the thoughts about the pain being unwanted or the stories of how bad it is, how long you've suffered with it, how long it's going to last, what if it gets worse, etc., then what is left? Without the thoughts about it, pain is just a physical sensation, no more, no less. Buddhism gives us the Pali term Vedana, which essentially means feeling tone. Our feeling tones come in three flavors: pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. There are really no other options. And what we call pain is generally just a sensation which is being perceived as unpleasant in the moment. So for now, we will refer to it exclusively as that, as sensation. It might be helpful to also remember that context can play a big role in our experience of pain or unpleasant sensations. The discomfort you experience after a good workout can be a welcome sign of a successful session. But the same discomfort appearing for no apparent reason in the middle of the night would be quite distressing. And some people actually enjoy different types of pain or discomfort and readily seek them out. Eating spicy food is maybe the most common of these, but they range to piercing, tattooing, and much further extremes. So there are no absolute value judgments that we can make about these sensations. We all have different tolerances and all react differently to similar stimuli. Just because we can experience these sensations, it doesn't mean we need to crave the pleasant ones or push away the unpleasant. With time and practice, we can learn to welcome and accept them all more or less equally. It's a high bar, but one worth aiming for. Sensing practice. To do this, we can start by becoming curious about the sensations rather than immediately bracing and defending ourselves against them. So, the first thing we can do is to get very interested in what exactly we are feeling that we are labeling pain or unpleasant sensation. Precisely, where in the body does it seem to be appearing? Does it have a defined shape? Is it two dimensional or three? Is it round, flat, spiky, irregular? We don't need to create a mental image of it. Just get acquainted with the physical sensations themselves and where in the body they are appearing. Likewise, you don't need to picture the body part. If it's in your leg, you don't need to see a leg in your mind. Get a sense of your body as a spacious field. Where in that field is the unpleasant sensation appearing? You might be surprised to eventually notice that where it appears doesn't actually correlate with where you originally thought it was. For instance, a sensation in the mid back might actually appear to be located a few inches outside of the boundary of your skin. It's perfectly normal and just something to get more curious about. Now, explore the sensation to see what's really there. Is it a solid ball of dense misery, or is it more of a tingling cloud? How substantial is it? Do you sense it as something you would call heat or cold, tension, vibration? Do you feel that the muscles nearby are tense and rigid? It is possible that when you first focus your attention on the unpleasant sensations, that they'll seem to increase in intensity and size or grow somehow stronger and more unbearable. This will generally be temporary, but take the opportunity to notice if you are creating more resistance to the increase in sensation. Are you tightening up somewhere else in the body in defense against it, pushing it away? Relax any tension you discover anywhere in the body. This is actually a very powerful insight that shouldn't be overlooked. If the intensity of your discomfort started at a 7, and the mere act of placing your attention on it ratcheted it up to 10, then that additional suffering is entirely mind created. It came from giving the sensation attention and then resisting what you felt. How much of your daily suffering is needlessly created or exacerbated by the mind and its reactions to what's happening? Now that you're feeling the sensations just as they are, notice if they're moving around at all. Do the shape, size, and location remain fixed? You might find that the sensations are constantly pulsing, growing and waning in intensity, that the sensations actually move from one location to another as you try to pin them down. It's like they're trying to escape your attention. Sometimes they will move an inch or two, and sometimes they will leap from one side of the body to the other. Get curious about the ways that the breath and blood flow to the area change the perception of the sensation. Does it feel different when inhaling compared to when exhaling? Can you feel the movement of blood coming to bathe that region with healing care? Boundary exercise. Now that you have a sense of the size, shape, and location of the sensation, get more specific about its borders. Where exactly does it start and where does it end? From there, you can try to feel into the borders of the sensation. How can you tell where the boundary is between the sensation and the boundless space that surrounds it? Really take your time with this step. If it feels like a cloud that's a foot in diameter, sense it from the space around it and notice if there is a clear distinction where the sensation ends and spaciousness begins. Does the sensation have defined edges, or is the barrier foggy, unstable, seamlessly blending into space? If you find it to have no discernible boundary separate from the space surrounding it, then follow the space deeper and deeper into the sensation. How far in does it permeate? At what point does the cloud become pure, solid unpleasantness? Does it ever? As you do this, notice if the feelings of unpleasantness seem to shrink or dissipate the more the space infuses it. Can you find any proof that the sensation is separate from the space encompassing it? If it does seem to shrink and dissolve, keep doing this, allowing it to become smaller and smaller. I do want to make it clear that we aren't doing these practices specifically to remove unpleasantness from our lives. That's ultimately impossible. And it reinforces the duality of me versus pain. It reinforces that defensive posture against things we decide we don't like. What we are really doing here is discovering how much of our suffering is caused by actual physical discomfort and how much is an unnecessary fabrication by the mind fighting against what it is currently encountering in life. In short, we either want something which is not currently in our experience, such as blissful comfort and relaxation, or not wanting something that is, for instance, muscle cramps or a headache. It's not the cramps, headache, or lack of relaxation that cause our suffering. It is our rejection of what we are experiencing and our desire for something to take its place. Consequently, we approach everything with that curious child's mind. And if the discomfort happens to dissolve while we watch it, then again, we have made a huge discovery that what we thought was something real and tangible called pain was just a co creation of our minds, making monsters out of often subtle physical sensations. Releasing the physical tension and resistance that arises when the mind creates and battles these imaginary demons can reveal that the actual physical sensation is a mere shadow of the monstrous pain we thought it was. Metacaruna practice. Another approach we can use to explore our experience of unpleasant sensations is to actually reach out to them. I think of this as a type of metta, loving kindness, and karuna, compassion practice. Metta and karuna also come from the Pali language, the language of the oldest Buddhist suttas. If you can, generate a feeling of gratitude or love for the sensations. I know this sounds counterintuitive, and you might balk or bristle at the idea, but the uncomfortable sensations are often there for a good reason. What we label as pain is usually a warning signal from the body in an attempt to keep itself safe from injury and harm. If your hand is on a hot stove, it's helpful to feel that heat and something deeply unpleasant so that you can remove the hand and keep it from getting burned even worse. Therefore, if you have an unpleasant sensation in the body, it's alerting you that there is something that needs your attention. Sometimes it's true, like the hot stove, and sometimes it's an overreaction, like when you've been sitting in meditation for 5 whole minutes and suddenly your back feels like you're going to be paralyzed for life if you don't move it right now. Again, if you feel that you're experiencing acute pain that could lead to further injury, please take appropriate steps to address it. Otherwise, we can explore it further. Even if the body is sending you alert messages about something that isn't as dire as it claims, thank it for its work. Thank it for its concern over your well being. You can speak these words either aloud or silently in your mind. Thank you for letting me know about this. It's okay, I'll take care of it later. Or, thank you, it's okay, I'm aware of that now and we don't need to do anything about it. Or just, thank you for caring. Whatever resonates for you, whatever you say should be honest and heartfelt. You don't even need to literally speak these words. You can just feel a rising sense of gratitude and direct it to the uncomfortable sensation. Similarly, you can send love to the sensation. If you want to use a phrase, you could try something like, I know you're suffering right now. I know you just want to feel comfortable, and I am so sorry you're feeling that way. Or simply, I love you. Or, I love you. Thank you for taking care of me. Either way, feel that sense of compassion and love for the body that is no different from any other sentient being who is trying to be safe and happy and free from suffering. And how sad it is that it can't always feel that way. So feel that love for the body and all of its unpleasant feelings the same way you would for a small child who is frightened or sad or physically hurt. None of us will have a life that can be completely free from discomfort or in which all of our expectations can be fulfilled. So take that care and compassion for the suffering of the world and direct it to the discomfort in this body. Feel how much you wish for the body to be happy and free from suffering. not because it's your body, but because it's another suffering creature in the world deserving of love and kindness. Notice how your experience of the sensation changes as you send it feelings of love and compassion. How does the rest of your body feel? Is there more warmth, lightness, tingling, radiance, relaxation, spaciousness? Sit with the sensation, bathing it in the glow of your compassionate affection. Old trauma exercise. If you would like to take this even further and engage with the sensation directly, you can actually ask the sensation a question. You can ask it if it has anything it wants to tell you, any messages, any teachings, anything at all it would like to express. Then just listen in for any sort of response. It could come as a thought heard in your own voice. It could be an image in your mind. It could be an emotion bubbling up unexpectedly. It could be any number of other sensations that arise. Whatever it is, you don't need to go on a long narrative thought journey through your history. Just thank the sensation for sharing. It might make sense or it might not. That doesn't necessarily matter right now. However, if something does come up linking it to an old trauma or event, see if you can surround that too with a sense of love. Just the fact that it came to the surface and has been seen can be freeing for it. There's no need to repress it again or push it away. It's been repressed long enough. It can't hurt you anymore. It's not happening now. You're in a safe place, and these are just old echoes of experiences passed through but not forgotten. The current sensation could be an old tension that was created when we resisted a situation that we weren't willing to accept at the time, or that is trying to keep uncomfortable memories or emotions safely stored away, like someone who hides something in their basement behind a false brick wall. Again, it's okay. These emotions and memories are not the original experiences, and they can't injure you now. They might be locked deep in the fascia and the connective tissues of the body. And if that tension can be released, then whatever arises, no matter what it is, can be greeted with that same gentle compassion and caring and kindness. You are not a victim of whatever has been locked away. You are older now, wiser, and are able to sit with it with the love and patience of a parent for their troubled child. Breath exercise. Another option for dealing with unpleasant sensations is to breathe into them. Just like how we can bring our love and compassion to the sensations, we can breathe directly into them. Envision the breath flooding the sensations. Even if it's in a part of the body where the breath can't literally reach, feel that area of the body expand with the inhalation and then feel the tension melt and release on the exhalation. As you do this, also notice if you have tension elsewhere in the body. If you have pain in the upper back right now, notice if your jaw is tight. Check in to see if your shoulders are clenched and high. Is there also tension in your low back? Maybe even a lot of tension in the face, in the brow, around the temples. Notice any places where you are holding tension and then breathe into them one by one, feeling them expand on the inhalation and release and melt on the exhalation. Non-dual equinimity. I've said it many times so far, but it can't be overstated that so much of what we label as pain or decide that we don't like is largely our mental resistance to what is happening now. It can also be that we are resisting thoughts, which, though they may be about the past or the future, can only ever be experienced right now. And that mental resistance quickly gets translated into physical resistance, which manifests as clenching muscles and all sorts of tension and rigidity. In this way, relaxing the body helps to relax the mind, and we relax our resistance to whatever is here now. By doing this over and over, we develop equanimity, our ability to be with what is without constantly feeling like we're battling against all of existence. Bit by bit, you can start to experience that you are in a constant flow with everything in the world. You are not separate from it. You are not a scared and fragile little entity who needs to be protected from this terrifyingly vast, dangerous universe. You are just as much a part of that universe as every other leaf on a tree, lion or elephant, the earth itself, the sun, the Milky Way, the entire cosmos. You are inseparable from every molecule of oxygen, every drop of water, every other sentient being, and every radiant cascade of cosmic energy that flows out unimaginably far in every direction. You contain it all just as it contains you. There is no separation, inside or outside, subject and object, us versus them. You are absolutely inseparable from everything that is happening everywhere, right in this moment, and none of it could or should be any different than it is. There is nothing to fear because there is no one who could be in danger. Everything is undeniably perfect exactly the way it is, so there is an ability to surrender in a positive way. We are not surrendering as a victim, but rather to the natural processes of which we are not separate. We have no choice but to be in the great flow. We couldn't be apart from it or fight against it, even if we wanted to. There is truly nothing to be done other than what is already happening now, and now, and now. We can ride the flow of life because we are truly that very flow. We are not apart from anything or anyone. We are a part of everything and everyone. We can only always be an undulating wave of this great dynamic cascade, ebbing and flowing everywhere all at once. With time and practice, you can hopefully experience this for yourself and develop the sweet liberation that comes from truly feeling no resistance to experience, no resistance to the one beautiful unfolding. I know this was probably not where you expected this all to lead, but it's important to know that you can develop a feeling of trust and okayness right now. Society is constantly filling us with reminders of how dangerous and scary our world is, and we need to be able to counteract that programming, to release our defensive postures and feel the freedom of pure existence without the concepts and labels, biases and judgments that split the world into pieces and pit them against each other in constant simulated battle. The tiny tensions arising in your body are a microcosm of these same imaginary battles writ large across the face of the planet. Real world practice. It can take time to get used to employing these techniques for addressing what we deem to be uncomfortable sensations. And though they are particularly useful when we're practicing sitting meditation, they are equally, if not even more useful, when encountering sensations or situations which we find cause contraction, resistance, and discomfort while we are out engaging in the world. If an interaction with someone didn't go the way you'd planned, if you didn't get the big raise you were expecting in your job, if you caught the flu and had to cancel your plans, you can get really curious about your experience in those moments. Where is the discomfort felt? Are you physically resisting against what is happening? What effect is a physical resistance going to have on a conceptual situation? I'll repeat that question. What effect is a physical resistance going to have on a conceptual situation? Is what is appearing truly as unbearable as it feels, or are your thought stories and labels making a small shadow into a terrifying monster again? Scan the body quickly to see where you are holding tension right now. Breathe into those tense spots, allowing them to relax and melt. Send them gratitude and love, kindness and compassion. Taking a few deep breaths before reacting to discomfort or frustrating situations or people who don't conform to our expectations can keep us from making even more suffering for ourselves when we react harshly or say things or do things we'll regret later. And those things will then likely become memories that will cause even more discomfort every time we remember and regret them later. See if that relaxation and those deep breaths change your perspective on what is happening right now. Is the situation really the way you initially thought it was? These tools, as simple as they are, can be absolutely transformative when we practice them on the mat, and even more so when we utilize them in our daily lives. I hope you find at least one of these techniques to be useful and wish you luck with your deepening practice.